on weekends. Okay, before that I'll just confirm sharing. Okay, everything is fine. Okay, guys, good afternoon. Let's start the sessions. Like till now, last Tuesday we have seen that how to write the coding completely on the like using functional programming, right? Now today onwards we'll step into the complete OOPS concept and all. Like let's say how to write in just normal code into the like using OOPS concept. Support before that, let me take one. Let me close everything, guys. Confusion to me. Now you guys understand like, how to use that package models and all, right? Yesterday we what we discussed. Okay, suppose going to start Python. Okay, fine. See, suppose in Python, if you want to print just one small hello message, we can use three ways. Just simply I can write print this one hi, and we can use functional programming as well. So, and this one once we have created, we have to call that. Okay, things Surendra might have joined. Okay, Arjun, oh, we'll. So we can just create the function and just call the function. Now coming to OOPS concept. If my function one. Equals to ABC of obj dot my function one. Okay, now see. So to just print one small message, we have three ways. Either we can use sequential way or it's like functional way and OOPS concept. Now let's see. We just run the script. Let's run cd dot dot cd new py. Sorry. What is the name? Again, OOPS is there, right? Now see let's py. What is that? Python OOPS. Now we have written one print message in three ways. So this is just normal sequentially functional way in this OOPS concept using OOPS. Now we'll discuss about this, like how we can write this one and what, like how to create a class and how to create methods and all. See, this one, if you write just normal function in outside of class, this is function. Now, if you write the same function inside of the class, that is called a method. So again, method, we have three multiple ways are there. And in variables also, we discussed in function two variables, right? Global variables and local variables. Now, again, in class, this one, in OOPS concept, we have three types of variables are there. And let's see, we'll discuss that. And before that, let's see, first of all, what is OOPS and all. See, OOPS means like it is object-oriented programming language. Now let's see what are the objectives for this one. That means what are the chapters we have in this one. See, is Python follows the functional approach and objective. That means OOPS approach. That means yeah, Python supports both functional and OOPS concept, everything. Now let's see what is OOPS. Object-oriented programming is a methodology to design a software or a program by using classes and objects. So it simplifies the software development or like any Python programming and maintenance by providing the below features. Now let's see what are the features we have. It is like OOPS is a paradigm, guys. Is it just a word or methodology we have to call it to implement any software or else like any software like else Python program also we can call. So apart from that Python, see OOPS languages are like C, Java, .NET. Suppose in Python we have three ways, right? Sorry, not this one. We have three ways to print this message, right? But in C, C++, Java, we have only one option, that is using OOPS only. We don't have such option, these two. So that is the advantage with the Python we have. And the above language is used to OOPS to perform some tasks. So apart from that, functional it won't support, sequential also won't support. So while developing any software by using OOPS, we need to create a classes and objects to implement the software. We'll just see like what it is. So this approach is called object-oriented programming. From now onwards, I'll just use OOPS only. So what are the advantages with this? While developing task means any requirement and could be by using OOPS, if program code is growing, then handling code is very easy. Suppose just take any website. For today, if you just create only two fields, that is user page, like that is username and login page. In any website, if you go to login page, you see only two lines, right? One is username and one is password and one is button, right? For the next page, once if you click on logged in, it will move to some other page. You see n number of features will be there. Just take Amazon only. So while you're doing implementing each feature, the code also will increase, right, every day. So better if you use OOPS concept to maintain the code is also very useful. And debugging, the debugging means sometimes in application you might have some issues. Maybe the program might got like some syntax errors. If you want to check the what are the, suppose if you define one variable and if you're not using that, still it will give some warnings. It will not throw issues. It will simply give warning that everything we can do, that is called debugging. And enhancements are easy. That means if you want to add new features to the any software, we can simply write the code, and that way is very easy. So these are the just advantages of the OOPS. Now let's see the completely terminology of this one and what are the features of that. See, every programming OOPS concept have these features only. One is class, object, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, abstract class, and interface. Now let's see about this first one, class. So first of all, what is a class and why we need to use this one? So a class is a model for creating an object. It does not exist physically. Suppose, let me take something, guys. Okay, for now I can just remove this one. Sorry. See this definition. A class is a model. It's just like how I can say, this is a Bangalore, right? Now this one we have. Physically, we can see this Bangalore. If you take the 3D map, that is just like model, right? So if we want to build something, suppose if we want to build any this construction of any building, first we have some map, right? That is like 3D model type, or just like map anything. So that is called class. Just assume a model is a class, and the object that is building is existing now. After construction, it is existing. That is object we call it. So just remember these 2 points. So class is a 3D model thing, and object is a building. Just remember that point. You will understand easily. So a class is a specification idea or anything. So it's a classification of properties and actions. Now, if you just go to normal our this one, here you can see we are just creating some task, right? But here we are doing so many things. So to print just normal message only, but we are doing like we're creating some method and we're just creating something and we're just calling that like how. So these are the specification for properties. We can call it in a class. Now let's discuss about this. So first of all, we need to learn the syntax. Till now, we have seen how to create a normal function. So we have to use def keyword to create any function. Now to create a class, we have to use a class keyword. So here, earlier to define a function, to create a function, we're using def and the function name. Now the same way here, we have to use class and the name of the class. For this one, the parenthesis is not mandatory, it is optional. While creating function here, this one is mandatory, but class, it is not required. Let's see now. I'm just going to create from now. Class. So now simply I'm just creating one class. Now, let me take this Python class only. Python class. So this one just class name, colon. So here, okay, see here, you see this one. Name of the class. So we can give any class, guys. Till now, in function programming, we're giving the function names as like small letters only, right? But class always should be capital letter, start letter here. The first letter always should be capital. Because why? Because I'll tell you while creating in the other steps. So for now, just remember only the class name always should be capital letter. The next immediate one is we have to use colon. That means is the syntax. If you miss this one, we'll get indentation error. Even for functional programming, we are using indentation, right? Because we have to keep some set of lines in only in function. That's why we are using indentation over there. The same way for class also, we have to use this colon. The next line, See, this is how we can just simply create class and give name of the class. That's it. Is the colon. The next one is constructor. Okay, forget about now. Just see the syntax. Constructor, properties, attribute. That means variables. So in just normal function or like Python, we call it as just variables. But once if you're coming into OOPS, we have to call it as properties or else like attributes. Variable name, other name is attributes. And actions are behavior, that is this one. Methods, we call it. Functions, right? Just without like outside the class, if you create any function, that is just like a function. But if you create any function inside the class, that is method or actions, we can call it. See, we can create class by using class keyword. Class can contains constructor, properties, actions means functions, and properties means variable. This one, properties or attributes are variables, and actions represented by methods. This one, and constructor will explain that slowly. Now we clear, right? Like how to create one normal class. So we have to simply use class keyword and name of the class colon. That's it. Now coming to that inside of the like how we can create. How to define a class. A Python class can contain below things, guys. Till now we're just seeing, just see here, we just seen what is the constructor, right? And what are the properties and actions. Now we're just dividing that again. So here, class and name of the class, that's fine. Here, document string, that means we can tell this class what it is doing, everything. So we can just give documentation to the understand. Suppose you're working in one company, you have written some Python files. So each file, you don't need to give like explain anything. You can just simply give some information that is called doc string, documentation string. And here constructor, I'll explain everything. Just see constructor, and again variables here. This is the attributes. Attributes we are calling it variables. Again, we have three types of variables in class. One is instance variable, static, and local variables. And again actions. This one, actions means methods. So again, methods also three types, but outside the functions, we have only function, that's it. But once we coming into the class, we have three types. That is instance method, static, class methods. Now let's see how we can create all these and how to work with this. First, like it will be almost 10 to 15 minutes. It will be completely theory. Just see, then we'll go with the practicals. Brief discussion about class C. We create a class by using class keyword. Class keyword follows the name of the class C. Class, and we are giving the name of the class. And after name of the class, we should give colon. There is one complete first line syntax. So after colon symbol, we need next line, we should provide the indentation. Otherwise, we will get error. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, see this one. Why I'm telling about this, we have to write in capital letters only. Suppose class name should start with uppercase and remaining letters are in lowercase. The first letter always should be in capital. Why means? See, if you have only single word, suppose in your class name, we have only Python like this, just give only the first word like this. Suppose if Python class, we have two words, right? Now the next word, just give the capital letter to understand easily. So why means while creating the objects, you will know the difference, what it is. So this is how you can, if you have two words in your class name, just give first letter of each word in capital. Yeah, now the main thing is the class is object. So here, you just seen the features, right? What is a class? Now we just simply create a class, that's fine. Now we are talking about the object, what it is. Object I don't know. Now we discussed only the planning, that is the 3D model of the building. Now we need to construct, right? That is called object. So as per requirement, we used to define variables and methods in a class. These variables and methods should hold the data or value. Suppose, just go guys, forget about this class for now. See this function only. Equals to hello. So this function, we have print statement and some variables, right? It is taking everything the same way. Function of, if you call this one, it will print only this high. Now I want to, sorry guys. I want to print this var also. How I can print? It's not possible with function, but it will possible with the class object. How we can do that? Suppose I want to fetch only this one. So here one way is we can return return where means now I can print this one outside of the function, but I want to print this one. That means function dot where. It's not possible with the function, but it's possible with the object in the OOPS concept. We'll discuss that. So why we need to miss? Suppose you defined in one class one variable, but you want to import that into another module. If you want to use that, so that's better to use that in the OOPS concept. That's what I'm telling here. Okay, so these variables and methods hold the data or values. So when we create an object for class, then only only data will be stored for the data members of the class. We'll explain this point. See, this about just information of object. Now see the definition, why you are creating the object. So instance of a class is known as object. So other name of the other name of the object is instance, guys. We can just call it as instance. Why means instance is a mechanism to allocate enough memory space for the data members of the class. For now, just see only the theory. Then once you step into practical, then you will understand. So now the definition 2. Grouped item is known as an object. Suppose in function, we'll keep multiple print statements. That is one completely on function only. But if you keep the same statements inside of the class, to access the to print those statements, we have to call with the object only. That is called grouped item. So everything will be inside of the object only. So now everything will be created in the class, but to call the methods which is inside of the class, we have to use object. That is called grouped item is known as object, because everything is packed right now. That is called a grouped item, you can call it sometimes. So grouped item is a variable which stores more than one value. Okay, before that, let me tell you one more thing. Suppose, okay, this function only. Suppose in this function we have return statement, right? We have. So when you have return statement, we have to use one more variable equal to, then we can, this possible, right? The same way, we'll use this one here. We call it a just variable, that is a return variable in function. But in class, we call it as object, this one. This variable, we call it as object. Now let's see how we can do that. Till now, we're just clear, right? What is a class? Class means it's just like a blueprint. And the object is like constructed building, anything. Just remember that point. Now just simply create one class. So instead of that, okay, let it be. I'm not going to add anything. For this one, syntax I'm talking about how to create object. Here we need to pass object. Again, I told like here in the function, we are using variable, that is result, right? That's just like a normal variable. The same way in OOPS also, just take one variable. Now here, till now, if you don't assign anything, it will be this. Now it is just like variable, right? Now, if I assign this class, this class, now ABC is object. Why means now, if you have any functions inside of this class, we can use this object to call. So this is the syntax, guys. See, now here I've written the syntax. Name of the object. See, what is the name of the object here? ABC, anything. Here it should be again variable. But once if you define, like that is the class, to assign this variable, now it will be act like as object. Now this variable. But if you assign this class, now ABC is object. That's why see the syntax. Name of the object equal to name of the class, and this is the parenthesis. This is the syntax. How to create object. Now we have seen how to create a class and how to create the object. Now let's see how to create the methods and variables inside of this class. Yeah, the first one is here. See, what is the first one? So now you've seen how to create the class, how to create the object. Now we're talking about the inside of the class. The first one is constructor. So first of all, what is a constructor? So constructor is a special kind of method in Python. For now, if you write any function outside of the class, that is a function. From now onwards, just remember that is a method. I'm talking about method. So constructor is a special kind of method in Python. So we can create constructor by using def keyword only. That's what I'm telling, right? If you write function outside of the class, that is a function. If you write the same function inside of the class, that is method. So this method, same way we can use def keyword. So we can create constructor by using def keyword. And the name of the constructor should be this one only, guys. So in any Python, not only in Python, in Java and C++ also, each programming have one constructor will be there. So in Java also, we have the same like this constructor name, but default, it will be the same for every programming language. Just assume I'm not about C++, I'm not about that, but Java, same the constructor name will be like this, underscore underscore init. This one we remember somewhere in package. While creating the package, we have to create one empty file that is underscore init. The same way, we're talking about the oops, this one now. See how to create the constructor first of all now. So once we created the class, we have to give a colon, then we have to start indentation, right? See, after that indentation, I'm just giving def. Again, I'm taking about the function that is inside, we call it method. Def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Here, just how to create the same function, right? So instead of simply init, I'm just giving underscore underscore. Why means it is a constructor. We'll explain the same thing. So here we need to pass one variable that is by default self will be there. Why means we'll explain the next thing. For now, just see the name of the constructor should be init underscore init self. This is the one parameter. So two underscore symbols before and after init with self parameter should be first parameter in constructor, guys. Here, suppose take some normal function, guys, with two variables. And where into where one 8,9. So we can just directly print instead of storing into some other variable. I'm just directly printing that. Let me comment this, otherwise it will throw error. It is printing 72, right? See how we defined the variables where and where one, right? The same way, self is a one default parameter, but you don't need to pass any value to this one. It should be there in constructor. Just remember that point. Self is a default parameter in the constructor, but you don't need to pass any value to this one. It won't take anything. If you just give also, it won't take anything. See, to underscore symbol, this init as self as a parameter. How we have same parameter in the functions. Here, self also one parameter to this init constructor. This one is called constructor. So that is a default parameter. It doesn't need to pass any value, but we can use this self to create different variables. That's what I'm doing. So see the syntax. Okay, I missed the indentation word here. Yeah, see the syntax now. Class name of the class we are created that. See class and we are created and we create the constructor also. Instead of that, we have created one self parameter that is by default none will be there. You need to pass anything. The main purpose of constructor is to initialize instance variables. See this point, guys. What is the use of this constructor is to initialize instance variables. Now, guys, even remember, right, global variables and local variables in function chapter. Now, when we have in OOPS concept that is instance variables. So what is the use of that one? So constructor will execute it automatically at the time of object creation. Now see, guys. So can I remove this one right now? Okay. So now I created class, object, and constructor. Now instead of the constructor, see. Print. See. Of. Hello. See. Now I'm going to execute this script. How it is printing? I'm not calling this constructor. I'm not calling this function or like method, but simply I created object with the class name. But how it is working means, yeah, that's what this is the last point. Constructor will be executed automatically at the time of object creation. So where object creation here, right? Object is created to this class. So that's why the constructor, you don't need to specifically call, like how you call the functions are the same way. You don't need to call this constructor specifically. It will create, like it will call at the time of object creation itself. So it is printing now. Suppose, let me talk about some normal variables now, not instance variables. Now we'll talk about only normal variables. See, now I'm taking variable 1, variable 2, two variables. So I need to print this one. We can't use return keyword here, guys. Constructor. That's why I'm just giving print only. So we can't give, so what is that? Return keyword in the constructor. That's why. Just print. See, earlier, well, in the normal function, was if we create the function with the parameters, while calling the function, we're passing like values, right? Like this one, guys. This one. We created the function with the parameters. While calling this function, we have to pass some values, right? The same way. In the constructor, I've given some values. But here, this one, I'm not calling this constructor specifically. But how I can pass the values means, see here. In the class, that's why we're giving the parentheses. Here, you need to pass the values. This value, like how many parameters are there? 1 and 2. 10, 8. Sorry, it is print tests. Print common, okay, sorry. Anyway, it is printing, right? 7, 10 and 3. So this is how we can call just normal variables. I told one, you need to remember one pointer, that is instance variable, right? See now. I'll just comment this. First, I need to talk about instance variable means. Instance means like if you are creating any variable in the constructor that will be used in the instance methods. See now. Example for means you want to tell real time. Okay, take this Amazon website only. In the backend, we have some database, right? About the database objects, or like price, or like anything, user details. Just take only the user name and user email. Just take only that. But how we can miss in the constructor itself? We can create, like we can call the database and get the data in one variable. I'm not talking about only one variable. That's so it will be stored as an object wise. You guys remember map object, filter objects. So it will be stored the data into one variable. That variable we can use into our function that is called methods. That's what I'm just telling some real-time example. Let me take one more thing, guys. Here, see how I'm writing the variable, instance variable, self. That's what I'm giving the self here. Self dot variable 1 equals to variable 1. Guys, remember what it is. It is simply var 1 equals to 5, var 2 equal to var 1. Same way, you guys remember, right? This is just like reassigning to another variable. The same way here. Here, now this one, just like a normal variable. But if you create self dot var, this is called instance variables. Remember, guys, this one. And this one is instance variables. Now see. Suppose if I just created, right, this one, print self dot, sorry, dot var 1. So you're getting 10 because we're passing value 10 here while calling, like we're creating the object. And this one, see, var 1 value is 10. Again, sorry guys, self dot var 1 is, so we're just reassigning that. So this is called instance variable. So what is the use of this one? Now let's see. So we can't do everything functionality in the constructor itself. So we have to create some functions that is called methods. We are creating the instance method, guys. See now, again in methods we have 3 types. See here, variables also three types. One is instance variable. That is the one which is discussing about that. This the instance variables. and static, and this one, once we step into static method, class method, we'll discuss that. For now, instance variables and instance methods. Now I'm going to create a normal function, guys. So my function one. See, earlier to create empty function, this is valid, but in class we have to pass self. Why means for class method, to create class method, you don't need to pass anything. Sorry, for class method, we need to pass CLS variable. See here. I'll just give you a small example, guys. Then you'll understand, I guess. This is instance method. I'll just write the complete all the methods and variables here itself. Print static method. Def my function to print. This is class method. Now, sir, you instance method means how we need to define means, suppose if you see self keyword in any function inside the class, that is called instance method. And if you see any class, any function having this CLS, this is the default variables. How we defined self, right? We have to give class variables using CLS only. That is a variable by default variable. And this static, it won't have anything. This is now you can see the difference, right? This is instance method. If any function having this self variable, that is called instance method. And if you see any function having this CLS variable, that is called class method. I'm talking about this complete method. Now this one is static method. Clear? Now see, I'll just simply run this script. We're getting till 10 only because here we assume we created functions, but we are not calling these functions, right? That's why I'm telling about methods. So we created methods, but I'm not calling that. But how to call these methods? See, ABC dot, because this one is physical. This is like 3D class is again 3D model, right? We can't directly go inside of the house. It is simply 3D model. We can't go, right? Once if you constructed house, then only you can go inside of the, right? The same way using class, sorry, using object, then only we can call this method. Sorry, like this. See, now simply calling only instance method. I'll tell you why. Okay, takes 0 position 1 was given. Where I've given the my function takes 0 position argument, but 1 was given. Where I've given. One sec, guys. Did I make any mistake? Variable, okay. 1 is fine. Class is okay. Okay, we're calling that. Nothing, right? Okay, let me take this one. Instant. Okay, let it be. Print. What is that? Self dot var. So guys, it might bring some error, but I'm not sure like why. Takes 0 position argument, but 1 was given. Okay, fine. Now coming to here. Okay, instance variable, we're just passing some variable. Okay, see why I'm getting error. Here, I'm talking about this one is instance variable, right? So I'm talking about this is instance method. So if you create any instance variable, we have to call the same variable here. Why this throwing error? But still it's taking 0 function. Did I made any mistake word before and after? No, right? Sorry. You guys remember? See, I've given the same name to the same functions. Sorry, guys. Why this one we are getting error means this one we'll call it about, we'll discuss in the polymorphism. Okay, this error also a good guy. Fine. So if you take same function names, that concept we call as polymorphism. We'll discuss that later. For now, see, now it is printing this one. So this is instance method. So this is how you can call instance method. Now see, if I how to call this class and static method is we have two ways. Either we can use object or it's like class name itself we can use. See, for now, I'll just call this class method abc dot my function. Series printing. This is instance method and class method. For static method, we can use both. I think for class method also works with class name. Let's see. Now I'll just use class dot. What is the method name? My function 3. Now I'll just use both. What is that? My class. Okay. Let me take this function 2 only. Now let's use function fun3 and Python class dot. Sorry, my function 3. My function 2 missing one required position argument CLS. Yeah. Function 2 is messed up. Don't need to pass anything variables. Yeah. Let it be. Just simply pass some 5. I think here it's not required. Okay, fine. It's still passing some requirements. Again, we're getting some error. Yes, somewhere messed up. Okay, for now, I'll just want to create confusion. It is taking time for me to explain you. But now I'll just talk about only instance variables and instance method, guys. For now, I don't want to create confusion. Yes, see. Why we're creating instance variables? See, these instance variables, if you're defining in the constructor, that one we can use only in the instance methods. You can't use this one in class method or static methods. See, here I defined this one, right? Instance, I'm talking about this variable. Now, see this one. Earlier, you guys remember local variable and global variables in the function. If you defined any local variable, suppose you have two functions, and if you have defined only local variables, that is a equal to 5 in one function, b equal to 6 one function. Now if you call that a value into second function, it will throw error because that is it will show a is not defined. The same way, now this one is one method that is constructed is a method again. So this method we have defined, that means we declared self dot variable equal to this var1. Now we are getting this one as 10, right? Now here see this one, print self dot var1. It is printing twice. So but see, in this function I didn't declare any variable, but simply when I use print statement, it is printing. How means that's why here see the self. That's what I'm talking about. Just listen, understand carefully, guys. This oops concept little create confusion as well. See, how to create instance variable means in the constructor, just pass any variable, and while declaring instance variable, just use self dot var1. Sir, do I need to give the same variable? Means it depends. If you want, you can give, or else you can take another new variable. Now I'm talking about the terminology. Just understand this one. This one is called instance variable. So why I'm not writing any logic inside the here? Let's suppose self dat var2 equal to var2. Suppose just see in this constructor I created two instance variables, right? So here in this instance method I need to return the value the same way in functions, right? The same one self dot var1 2 sorry self dot var2 this one. Now you're not getting anything because we don't have any print statements and return. But where we are storing that one, we are not storing. We have return keyword in your method or function. We need to store that into another variable, or else we have to use print statement. See here, print Now we are getting the point, right? See, here we declared 10 into 8. So we are getting 80. So how means this the instance variables. Suppose, let me change the values for your purpose. So why do you simply use this one here 3, 4. See, you're getting right. So just see the terminology, understand that in the variables where equals to 5, where 1 equals to is simply declared. Now both variables will hold the same value, right? The same way here. That's what I'm just using the same values here again. Yeah, I'm using the same variables instead of create confusion. I'm just using the same ones. Yeah, this one like this. One more thing, sir. Why we're creating a constructor and why we're using these variables in the instance method means, yeah, we have some logic. See, suppose if I write the same logic instead of this one, where we can give, suppose, let me take 10, we'll just give here, sorry, just give here, let's see, here I'll just give some print statement only, guys. Suppose if I remove this one, let's see, if I just remove this one, it's throwing error. Okay, something is messed up, oh sorry, because of this one, okay. See, should return none only, not integer. That's why I'm telling you, return will not work in the constructor. That's why I don't give. So suppose if you want to build any logic, we have to use this instance method or class or static methods. Now we're discussing about the constructor. Now in the constructor, it will take only the instance variables. So here, if you define n number of instance variables, we can use those all variables in instance methods only. We can't use these instance variables in static or class methods. But if you defined variables like self dot var1, right? But in class, it will take cls dot var1. I'm talking about class methods. So that's why I just want to create confusion. So now just focus only on constructor and instance. And tomorrow we'll discuss about those two methods. Now we have just seen what is instance method variables and instance method, right? Now let's see like local variables and what it is. Yeah. Where I mean, guys. Okay, here. Yeah, instance variables. Now, suppose I need to talk about the local variables, right? So local is how we can create inside the function only. It will be there. If you just use, suppose here, let me multiply with suppose multiply with some var3. Suppose now see what I'm doing. So here I just simply constructed and two instance variables. Now here see, this is the instance method. While creating the instance method, I'm just creating one variable. Now this variable 3 will be act like as a local variable, or else simply you can define var 3 equals to 5 like this. So I don't want to, this one also will write and this one also will just see two multiple scripts we can write my function 2. So I'm just creating one more instance method, guys. Return now self one dot var 2. Now this works. Why? Because this already again instance variables. So we can use instance variables in n number of instance methods. Like how many types you want, you can use that. Var 2 into var 3. Now see, here I simply created instance method, but here it is taking one extra parameter. Now how to pass that value means here see. Okay, I'm using print only, right? Okay, let it be. Just what is the function to here? Okay. So here, if your instance method having different parameters apart from self, we don't need to give any value. See here, apart from that, if you have any variables, while calling this method, here you need to pass some values. Here guys, see, while calling this method, how I'm just calling ABC object dot and that instance method. So we have only one variable. So I'm just giving 56. Now see, var3 is not defined in this variable here, this here. Why means this is called local variables. So if you defined any local variable in one instance method, and if you're trying to access that into another instance method, it will throw error. That is the one major difference. This one local variables, it will works only with that particular method. Here guys. This works. Okay, let me clear this and I'll just run this script again. See, so that's why this is called local variable. So while creating the method itself, we can pass or else directly hard code here itself. So both are valid. But see, here I'm just passing some value and here we don't have any variable. But if you run this, it will throw error. See, one position argument, but two were given. Where two were given, but I've given even one only. That's why self will take none. You don't need to specify. So here in this function C, we have self, and while calling this instance method, it is not passing anything. But here we don't have anything, but still we're passing 56, but it is, see the error. One takes only one position, that is self only it will take. But two were given, that is 156 plus self also it considers. Clear guys, like how to pass the local variables and how to work with the instance variables. And one more thing is here, don't give return keyword itself. Okay, this is about instance class and instance methods, local variables, and do we have anything in that? Symbols, constants, variables. Okay. Okay, for now. Okay, fine. Now let's see. Till now we have just seen how to access the values, right? Now let me implement some small logic using. Okay, let me give some assignment for me only. Okay, I have this one only. Just go to this ClickBus. Every place have the scores, right? You'll get total runs, right? In the below in the ClickBus, if you see players scores and total, you can see that. So you will just implement the same one in this using whoops for now. Till now we just seen how to access and how to use this one. But if I want to implement some logic, how I can do that? Suppose everything I have to, most of the times till now in my experience, I've used class and static methods, and it's very rare. Till now I'm using, most of the times I'm using only instance methods only. We'll just use this one. I'll just comment this. So what is my requirement is now I want to take the inputs, that means it is sequence, that is list, and make it into complete total runs. So we can use reduce filter map, that is reduce function, right? Now let's see. Here I'm just going to define. So for now, okay, let me create one more constructor. I'll just come, or else one sec guys, instead of this one I'll just create one more class. Till now we have seen how to implement logic using sequential way and functional way. Now how to use same like class and objects to implement that logic. So here I'm just passing class, and what is my class? I'm just, you can give any name, class name again. Now def. Here guys, constructor, it depends on you whether if you want to give or not. So I don't want to create constructor itself. So here I'm just giving my function name directly only. So self, comma. Now I'm just need to pass some where, that is list of values. Now I need to make that into complete, right? Now I can use lambda function over here. Now result equals to, what is that, reduce. So before using to reduce, I need to import that some module that is called function tools. So here, see here how I'm importing that. So just import, sorry, function tools, import reduce. So I don't want to tell you only the logic behind these things. I want to tell how you can implement other logics using class and functions. That's why reduce of here lambda. Okay, now reduce will take only two arguments, right? That's why x comma y colon x plus y. Okay, instead of getting total addition, let me use multiplication. Till now you've seen, right? So I'll use multiplication. Now, comma, what is the sequence? Where? See, now I will just return this value. Sorry, return now. Now I'm just going to create one object. My object equals to. So this one variable now, if I just simply pass some value, now it will be object. See guys, here I don't have any constructor. That's why I don't need to pass any variable here. Now my object dot my function of. Here we have one more variable, that is var, right? See, here I will just take tuple 35, 46, 47, 56, 58, 60. So these are the players' scores. Now I want to make it a total, right? So this one I can store that into some another variable. Result 1. Let me take result 1. Print result 1. See, you're getting multiplication this much, right? So instead of that, let me give it addition only. 302. So all players total score is 302. Now we got right how to implement some logic in the class using instance method and the class and the object. Now I can use this result score into another class to display the total in the website. So that's why I used a return keyword here. Now it's clear, right? How to create one class and object and how to work with these instance methods. Any questions, guys, till now from starting Python chapter until now? If you have any questions, you can ask me, or any doubts also. And tomorrow we'll discuss about the other remaining things. What is static variables and static method and class methods. So any questions, guys, till now? Or any doubts also, you can ask me now itself. Okay, and then if you don't have any questions, then we'll wrap up this call for today, because the other topics which we are discussing, static methods and class method, it will take some time. So that's why we don't much time. So that's why I don't want to create confusion for now itself. Just practice this one, how to create a class and how to create instance and constructor methods. Just take small examples only. Just two values, take two additions, that one. Okay, guys, then if you don't have anything, we'll just wrap up this call for today and we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Garaju. Thank you, Tejashwari. Bye.